towards the UNC. If elected, Mrs. Pasambi says the central government will be about good governance. Pasambi says is calling on members of the Muslim community to know the detractors and show their support towards the UNC. If elected, Mrs. Pasambi says the central government will be about good governance. Pasambi says is calling on members of the Muslim community.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are of course the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board. Plyboards, fair, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakani Road, Felicity Shogunas.
Okay, my friends, pleasant good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago, and those of you who are locked on to our program, Hardfacts. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim, my co-host, Mr. Premchand Balde. We are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. It's your lunch time, it's your lunch break. It is your program that is going to identify, my friends, the challenges. I have told you all right that any government rebuke any government rebel that property tax, I am going to vote for the $3.6 billion gone. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago say, here what? If you have $25,000, no pension for you.
You have plenty money.
Dr.
Yes.
Kid Rowley. If you are a leader, you are responsible for your flock.
There's something called freedom of expression in this country.
You're going to get that money to pay property tax. Have you not seen kidnapping on the rise, Trinidad and Tobago? Have you not seen that? Okay, my friends, pleasant good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago, and those of you who are locked on to our program, Hardfacts. That is aired Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. So, my friends, those of you who are locked on, you have that number 372-2129. Call us and let us know what is taking place in your communities. Let us know what we can do on our end to really and truly highlight, whether it be atrocities, whether it be things that would be motivational, whatever you feel that is airworthy or newsworthy, and you would like to air it on our program, Hardfacts, feel free to call us 3722129. And again, my friends, I want to take this opportunity to welcome our viewers locally, internationally, in the regional area, in the CARICOM Islands and so forth. My friends, those of you who are locked on, feel free, again, to share our video and let others know that they have a voice. That's basically borderline in our program, where we identify the anomalies, the atrocities that is being perpetrated by the evildoers in our society, the criminal elements in our society. Very, very importantly, my friends, our program really and truly have been geared in such a way that we bring about sanity back to humanity, because that is what is lacking in our communities. And again, those of you who are locked on, my co-host, Mr. Premchand Baldev, I'm peeping on his list there, and he has a lot of things that he would like to discuss. And my friends, those of you who are locked on, join with us, call us, let us know how we can be of help, whether it be in infrastructural wise, whether you are satisfied with the services that is being offered. Because I am seeing, and in today's program, we're going to dive into it, I am seeing a lot of those bloggers, those people who have been blogging, right? Really and truly, they have been doing it for a purpose, to ensure that maybe the United National Congress would go into office. They went into office, and a lot of people today, they are very much disgruntled, they are dissatisfied, and they are waiting for their pound of flesh. I say no more. Premchand?
Yeah. So thank you very much, our Reverend Imam Rashid Karim, for having me on the program, Imam. We are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, bringing you current events, bringing you information that is headlines in Trinidad and Tobago, and diving deep into it. Now, my friends, we are here on TikTok, on Facebook, and on YouTube. You can catch us live, and you can also view our recorded broadcast also. Now, my friends, today in Sentinel Media Broadcasting, we would like to extend condolences to the family of former Independent Senator Derup Timal Imam, on his passing. So from here, this management and staff of Sentinel Media Broadcasting, we say have a safe journey, RIP, rest in peace, or return if possible. God's blessings. Now, my friends, yesterday Sunday it was a historic day in Trinidad and Tobago. Yesterday marked the 19th anniversary, or the 19th year, Imam, of the closure of Caroni 1975 Limited. Why I said it is a milestone? You know, Central and South citizens, residents were employed in Caroni Limited. And at that time, friends, Caroni Limited was one of the major export and foreign exchange owner in Trinidad and Tobago, alongside oil and gas, Petrotrinidad. Right? And, you know, 19 years ago, under a P&M government, I'm not bashing anybody here, we are here to bring the facts. Right? We are here, we are not anti-PNM, we are not anti-UNC, we are not for PNM, we are not for UNC, we are what you call broadcasters. And that is our job, to bring you the information undiluted. At that time, you know, maybe I think it was somewhere around 5 to 10 to 11,000 people were employed in Caroni 1975 Limited. It was a major foreign exchange owner, as I said before. And there were many, many byproducts coming out of Caroni Limited, Imam. Not only sugar, but you know, like Celotex and fertilizers, molasses, and many other, you know, within Caroni Limited there was diversification also of other crops. However, we're going to leave that there. Then come back in, maybe, I think it was 5 years ago, under another PNM government, we saw the closure of the other main foreign exchange owner, which is Petrotrin. The present government, which is the United National Congress, they are working feverishly to have Petrotrin back into operation, Imam. And that, you know, that is welcoming news. So in the near future, I think and I hope that the Minister of Energy, that is Dr. Rudal Munila, would come out and say, you know, how strong and when is the possibility for Petrotrain being opened once again. Now, with that being said and done, Trinidad and Tobago, you know, it pains and it hurts to say this, but it seems as though Trinidad and Tobago is running with autopilot. Reason being, prior to the general elections, people were very fearful, Imam. Now, I have it written here, 14 weeks or 3.5 months after the general election, we have a new regime in power. People are still fearful of coming out of their homes after 6 and returning home after 6. People are still fearful when they are asleep in the night because of home invasions. Now, we have a video here. I'm going to get into that just now. People are fearful for home invasions, Imam. Kidnappings continue unabated like it is smooth sailing. Missing persons. We just saw, Iman and I were discussing just 2 seconds before we come on live, 2 persons went missing again. Carjacking is on the rise. The motor vehicle larceny squad, where are you? Right? You know, I have to say that thank God for search and rescue mission. There are 2 arms of the search and rescue mission that, you know, they would go on the prowl and find missing persons. Now, Imam, the only thing that is really selling and moving at a pace in Trinidad and Tobago is medication and drugs for the sick, the needy, groceries, because you must eat, Imam, and the sale of cars in this country, foreign used cars and brand new cars. Other than that, I do not know how the SME, the small and medium business enterprises, are surviving. Imam is a businessman. He will touch on that a little bit in the program.
Okay, so
today.
again, my friend, just for your knowledge, maybe sometime Prem would say things, but basically that would have been, and it will be, the opinion of Mr. Premchand Baldeo. As he said before in the opening remarks of the program, certain things that, you know, we are not biased, we are not prejudiced against any league when it comes to governmental services and so forth. But again, my friends, when we look at the PNM and we look at how many years that they were in power, and then we look at, you know, what has transpired during that duration, which is 10 years, we have not seen anything. Anything is better, right? So bottom line here is that we have been supporting, I have been supporting the United National Congress. As my director will show you, I've been supporting the United National Congress unabatedly for the past numerous years. Director, run that video. Run that video for
All
me.
that attract move and show their support towards the UNC. Kamala Prasad Biswas is calling on members of the Muslim community to know the attract move and show their support towards the UNC. If elected, Mrs. Prasad Biswas said the government will be about good governance.
You who, as I just mentioned, Mr. Premchand Baldeo is my co-host in the program, and maybe sometimes he would use, whether it be opinions or whether it be facts, that is borderline with his opinion.
Sure.
My opinion is totally different in the sense that I have been supporting the United National Congress from day one, and I'm going to continue supporting the United National Congress until that time where I see, or where I have really and truly become so much dissatisfied with whether it be their performance or not. But at this point in time, many of you would realize that we have never deviated, and even so much so, my co-host, he also have not deviated. Matters not, he said on the program itself that he's PNM, right? But I'm telling you all, my friends,
That was a little joke there, yeah.
my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, you all have to understand these things. And we are not singing for our supper, but what we are saying is that, you know what, due has to be given for the right reason. And we are seeing presently, we are looking on, we have already had 6 protest actions taking place against the government of Trinidad and Tobago. When we look at the prior government, we saw for 10 years, everything was dormant, everything was silent, and we are waiting, and I am calculating how much protest, and we have it in our files. We are going to put it out, whether it be a review, quarterly review, whether it be a year-end review, but we are going to show Trinidad and Tobago the hypocrisy of many people in our country, right? When they cannot get something, you know what, they run. We have been lamenting, we have been, crying out, and we have been asking, you check our folders. You check our folders in our program, Hardfacts. Mr. Premchand, myself, we have been clamoring. We have been calling on an island-wide shutdown. Nobody have really and truly heed. But you are going to see now, my friends.
That is coming.
That is coming.
That is in the making.
Because I am seeing again, we are seeing that the bloggers are coming out in their large numbers, and they are claiming that, you know what, we supposed to be getting some special treatment. Never in our program here, we have really and truly said, well, we need to get this, or give us this, or show us any different leverage other than the normal lay citizens. But again, my friends, leadership is very important. A leader is an important individual, means to say that they cannot leave out the grassroots people who are activists in their communities. And that is what we have been saying. I have been looking on, and I said, I'm going to bust a mark, but I'm just holding on. When you look at the Islamic community, Trinidad and Tobago, when you look at the Hindu community, when you look at the Christian community, when you look at the composition, the cosmopolitancy of the population of Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to realize exactly what I am talking about when it comes to ratio-wise, when it comes to governmental board, when it comes to state boards, right? That is something that has to be adjudicated in a manner that every creed and race, that is Trinidad and Tobago motto, every creed and race will have an equal place. That is the national anthem. And if we are not seeing that, and we continue hiding or burying our head in sand, thinking that it's going to go away, my friends, that clearly indicates that you are a weak individual. And myself and Premchand Balde, we are no weak individuals. We are going to speak out. We're going to come out here in our numbers, and we are going to really and truly identify with the citizens of this country, let them know that you are not being served properly. Thus far, I am telling you this, we are getting the best of the best, in the sense that a new government has taken power in our country. They have taken leadership in our country. They have taken governance in our country. And my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, they have really and truly, everything depends on the financial climate of the country. And at this point in time, you would have been hearing the Prime Minister of the country claiming that, that there is no monies.
And that is a fact.
Yes.
It is a known fact.
And they are seeking loans from different organizations around the world, so that you and I, my friends, could really and truly get some sort of benefit. I saw recently that even they have approached even Dubai, and a loan was granted in the vicinity of $900 and something million. That is close to $1 billion. So, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, the government of the day, I am saying this, and I do have really and truly 100% facts on it. But from what I am gathering, the intel that I'm gathering from the different media houses and so forth, the government is putting their best foot forward at this point in time. Some of you might not like it, but again, Trinidad and Tobago, you have to live with it, because remember, certain individuals, when they went in parliament, they say, we in power now, right? We in power now. We in control now.
No statement could be more egoistic and arrogant than that statement. This is we time and we in power. Yeah. Hello, you are in power to serve Trinidad and Tobago and not your party or any race of people. Now, as the Imam was saying, okay, our beloved Prime Minister, Mrs. Prasad Bissessa, ruling the United National Congress, who is in power presently. Madam Prime Minister, I know, and Trinidad and Tobago know, you said that you would repeal the property tax, and that has been done.
Yeah.
Right? That is property tax. Our advice here to you, Madam Prime Minister, as small as we may be, and as as little as it might be, is that there is no money. We know that billions have gone missing, and we know that you have unearthed, with real hard evidence. Put them before the courts. But in the meantime, Imam, how would you support this? That the property tax has been repealed. Let us go back to the LNB, which is the land and building taxes. For instance, I used to pay $200 a year for my land and building taxes. Let us go back to the same old rate, or maybe 100% on the old rate. For me, it would be $400 a year. In that way, Trinidad and Tobago, we will generate some sort of money, some sort of millions to assist our country in paying salaries, in buying medicines, and many other things that is really needed in this country. What do you think about that, Imam?
I support
Because
that. I support that
the
100%.
land and building taxes is not property tax. Property tax is based on the 15% of how much on the base on the value of your property.
I would like to bring up a really important point when it comes to what Mr. Premchand is saying. Caroni Limited state lands, right? That there is so much problem in that. When somebody, let me just give you an example of what I'm saying. Your grandmother, because basically it would stem from grandparents, grandmother to your parents, and then your parents to us, who is this generation, present generation. I tell you something. There is so much obstacle, and that is what the blogger was saying, and I agreed with him for a certain percentage, where he said that he thought, knowing for a fact that he championed the cause for the United National Congress to win the election, and they won the election, and he thought maybe his little roof, he was identifying that he has a little breakdown roof, and he would get some sort of assistance. And the guy is saying that there is so much bureaucracy in getting that, and that's true. And that is true because I tell you something, in the past and even today in the present, is who you know.
Repeat that, Imam.
Is who you know. Is who you know. And tell you something, there are people who come to my establishment, I've been really here, and I ask them, where you all going? They say, look, you know, somebody's going to help them, and they're going to get it. My friends, Trinidad and Tobago, right? The same very same thing has happened when it comes to the FUL, Firearms Users License. People are asking the very same question. When is it that they're going to start give license to the people, the bona fide persons who applied 12 and 15 years ago? That has not been done. And people are saying this, not us, Trinidad and Tobago, people are saying this. They are calling us and saying things like this. They are saying that people have to pay monies again. I remember the past Prime Minister of the country, the Honorable Dr. Kate Rowley. I use the word honorable now because I tell you something, he's nowhere to be found, and so forth and so forth. So basically, respect has to be given as a past Prime Minister, right? And you know something? He quoted the exact figures that people are quoting today.
$50,000.
$50,000 to get a firearm license. I would like the Minister of Homeland Security, the people who is in charge, who is the Commissioner of Police, really and truly should make statements, really and truly to debunk that, because people go in with the impression that they have to pay $40,000 and $50,000 to get a firearms license.
But Imam, there are approximately 22,000 processed FUL applications processed by the Trinidad and Tobago Police, and recommendations have been made to or for or against. All right. These applications are in the office of the Commissioner of Police. Mr. Commissioner of Police, your office is an independent office. You operate independently as an independent mind and body over the TTPS. What is keeping you back from giving information?
Before we take our first break, I just want to say a little shout out to Fadil. Before we take our first break, I just want to say a little shout out to Fadil, Fadil, Christopher, Rude Max, Leandra, The King, Spence Power, right? Trini to the Bone, KS, Carol, Martinez, Silver Dollar, and those persons who are live on our TikTok, feel free to text us. Let us know what is going on. We are going to read your text, share the text, because one of the bloggers here, one of those persons who are giving us information, they are saying that, Imam, you all are right, because nobody is taking any monies. They are not taking any monies. They are taking a token of appreciation or gifts. That is what the bloggers are saying outside there.
So it cannot be termed as bribe.
No. So again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, if you have information that you would like to share on this program, Hardfacts, 372-2129. That's the number. You can call us live. Director, ensure the lines are working, and we are going to take your calls live in studio. And again, my friends, you can tell us anything. If you want to criticize us, you want to compliment us, we don't have a problem. We don't have a problem with that. If the government is doing something good, really and truly big them up. If they are not doing anything, or you're not seeing what you're supposed to be seeing, you have a voice. This is your voice. This is your platform. I am telling you, mount the platform and let Trinidad and Tobago know that there's a rude awakening coming, and people would like to know what is going on when it comes to their safety, their family safety, and their bread and butter. Let's take a break, Director.
DeSantis is calling on members of the Muslim community to ignore the detractors and show their support towards the UNC. If elected, Mrs. Bassam DeSantis said the government will be about good governance.
So welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago, to our program Hardfacts on Sentinel Media Live Broadcasting. We are here with you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from approximately 12:15 p.m. and it is a 1-hour program. It's unedited. Now, my friends, whatever we say in this program, these are views that are expressed by media houses and by the lame or the person on the street. These are not only our views here. Now, the SOE, which is a state of emergency, is in effect, all right? And, you know, stand your ground laws, Imam.
Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago, our citizens are waiting feverishly for when stand your ground laws will come into effect. But in the meantime, Mr. Commissioner of Police, there are applications, as I said before the break, that have already been investigated and processed and is awaiting your approval. Do not wait for stand your grounds then to approve those applications. Some of them are 6 years on your desk. Because while that is happening, Director, bring that video where the minister is speaking.
Shoot first and suffer the consequences after is the message Defense Minister Wayne Sturge gave his constituents on Tuesday night during a stand your ground consultation. With reports of criminals in police uniforms, he says this may preserve your life.
If they are police or not, what do you think is the common sense thing to do? I'll leave you with a little quote I learned years ago from my good friend Herbert Volney, who said, "It's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Now, that's a very powerful statement. I hope you caught the gist of that. It is better to be tried by 12, meaning a jury, because you are still alive, than carried by 6. Six it means the 6 persons who are total in your coffin. All right? Now, Sentinel Media Broadcasting, myself and Imam here, we have been advocating for over 2 years on what are the means that ordinary citizens should use or could use that are available to them to defend themselves and their families in the privacy of their homes during the night time. Here we see the minister is saying, Director, I didn't get the first part of that video. He said, shoot first and then ask questions, right? Now, do you have a firearm? Then you would have to have an illegal firearm in your home presently. We don't want that to happen, so we are calling on the Commissioner and the Minister of Homeland Security to look into this immediately and quickly. Now, Imam, Trinidad and Tobago, my friends, it was reported only yesterday, the day before, that the USA has implemented a 15% tariff on Trinidad and Tobago import goods.
Prima, tell us something. Trinidad and Tobago, right? Let us be real here. Those of you who are locked on, it is really and truly important for us to dive into the ocean when it comes to tariffs. We have been seeing that the president of the America, that is United States of America, he have been doing things. Yes, we have been really and truly, trying to advocate higher taxes and so forth, right? Now, Trinidad and Tobago brace for economic blow as US hikes tariff 15%.
Those are strong words, you know.
I tell you something. What is happening around the world? If our country, like for example, I had heard the president of Guyana stated emphatically clear that Guyana is self-sufficient when it comes to food production. When it comes to food production, Guyana is self-sufficient. Can we say that about Trinidad and Tobago? Knowing for a fact that little or nothing has been done, because I saw last week on a social media blog that close to $1 billion were allocated to prepare farmlands and so forth. And when they look at the amount of money was spent, the allocation was finished. But we look at the job spec, and it only indicated that about 40 or 38% of the work was done. So it clearly indicates that there is an abnormality when it comes to that. Now we are saying, my friends, we are asking Trinidad and Tobago, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with what has transpired in the past? Are you going to take it lying down, or are you just going to allow it to be swept under the carpet? Because every ministry thus far, every ministry, I am not hearing anything coming from Health Minister Lakram Bodo. I'm not hearing anything, but I heard Khadija Amin, local government. I have heard energy. I have heard a lot of different ministries coming up, and they are stating that, you know, monies went missing during that tenure, and they're quoting figures. But the point of question here is those figures being just bandied about so that Trinidad and Tobago, our citizens, will settle for next to nothing. Is that the case? Because we already went through. We went through and we endured 10 years of hardship under the PNM, right? And I'm talking about the country, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not talking about certain sectors of the country. Because when you look at the infrastructure, it is really bad. We look at Pitch Lake. We look at the Pitch Lake. They are selling out our God-given wealth. What's supposed to make our country a better country when it comes to mobility, when it comes to infrastructure, and so forth. And we have to beg Trinidad and Tobago in the borough of Shogunas. I'm just giving you an example. We had 2 potholes in Greenwich Road, and we asked to fix it, right? And you know what the answer would have been? We don't have material. And lo and behold, it was fixed, right? But it seems as though that should not have been any excuse or reason for not repairing the road, knowing for a fact that God Almighty gave us a natural pitch lake where there's an abundance of pitch and bitumen that we can use to repair our roads. You look at some countries, they don't have rocks. We are fortunate that we have gravel, we have stone, we have pitch, we have all the commodities to really and truly make a better road structure, infrastructure wise, and we still suffering. And they are looking again, this government and the other government, they are looking for the very same thing, how they can sell out the assets of the country, and those assets belong to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have to be very, very mindful. And I am calling on the government, the United National Congress government, let us do things that will bring peace, comfort to the citizens of our country when it comes to infrastructure, namely roads. Especially when you talk about farmers, when you talk about people who planting crops. When the rainy season comes, they cannot bring out their crops. And when the dry season comes, they cannot grow their crops. Lack of water, lack of infrastructure. That has to be changed. And that has to be changed. Give the Minister of Agriculture the responsibility to do that. It's about time you give them, you give them a working period, whether it be a year. And if they cannot function in that ministry, make them comfortable. Let them go home and rest.
Well said, Imam. But
let them go home and rest.
That will only happen in Singapore.
Any ministry, as a matter of fact, you give them the opportunity, whether it be local government, whether it be energy, whether it be housing, give them the opportunity to serve that ministry in 1 year and let them give a report, an annual report to the citizens of our country. Because if you wait on them to give the Prime Minister that report is going to be a positive report, and the Prime Minister is going to take that hook, line, and sinker. Everything is honky-dory. Let the people judge it. Let the people judge the performance of any government. And I tell you something, at this point in time, the United National Congress, people are saying, and this is what is coming from the ground floor on the white line, they are saying that the United National Congress, they are doing a good job thus far.
Well said, Imam. Well said. Now, Imam, that point you make about after a year in office and the ministers who are holding different ministerial positions and are in charge of different aspects of our country, and they fail or the result, is not up to standard. You said that they should go home and rest, right?
Go home and rest.
Good. We had a minister of national security who stated emphatically on national television that it is not his responsibility to make you safe. Now, Honorable Minister Roger Alexander, Homeland Security Minister, we pin that in front of you. In front of you, not on you, we pin that in front of you. In a year's time, let us hope, we hope and we pray, and that you would use your good office and your expertise, and you would have proper advisors on how to deal with this creeping, climbing crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago.
Exactly.
Presently, it is just as bad as before.
Exactly what Prem is saying. And I'll tell you something. You know, when you have somebody who you have to emulate, and knowing for a fact that they were a very good performer, it is a tedious task for the people behind. Right? The people,
you have to come up to standard.
Right. But when we look at the past regime, and we look at the performance of those ministers, it is smooth sailing for you all. It is smooth sailing for you all, because you really and truly don't have any big obstacles.
You have no
because
barrier.
when you look at the performance of these past government ministers, my friend, you could surpass that in 6 months' time. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, it's about time you all stand up for what is right and don't fall for everything that is wrong. 372-2129, that is the number that you can call us. Let us know, the people who have firearms applications inside, you all don't want to make any query? People who have WASA, you have made application for WASA. I saw this on our chat here. The Honorable Barry Padarat has given a moratorium to WASA. Right? They give them a 1 year to pay the... Hey, come back. Let us debate that. Come back here. Come back with that director. Pull up that there for me. I want to see that. The one with the Honorable Minister of Public Utility, Barry Padarat. We're talking about WASA. We're talking about the moratorium for WASA. Right. Barry Padarat, right? WASA gets a 1 year moratorium on $35 million fine. Now tell us something. Those of you who have a water connection, how much time for the month you are threatened by WASA via the social networking system, where they would send a message that if you do not pay within the framework of maybe this week or that, chances are you are going to be disconnected. That's a threat.
It comes in every bill.
That's a threat,
yes, it's
right?
a threat, yes.
And you know something? Where did the money goes? All those millions and millions of the, the fine. You see, in Trinidad and Tobago, I could just walk out the studio in a prim.
Ivan, let me tell you something. Don't walk out. You're going to leave me here alone.
I could walk out the studio and tell you honest to God. Because here what is going to happen. We are seeing this. People in the country want to know what is going on. Because we are being fed regurgitated information. We have been fed that information over and over and over and over. We want to know the real stark truth. We want to know what is going on. You're talking about there's no finance in the treasury. Let us know what is going on. Let us know where all the $1 billion went. Take the past government to task. And even so much so, if this government is in power, maybe for 5 years, 10 years, or whatever the duration, and you have to take them to task for the monies that is spent. That money is not their money. That money belongs to the citizens of our country. While you all drive your high-end vehicles and you eat your best meals and so forth, there are people in this country who are suffering. While you could pay for medical services at the highest end nurseries and whatever, right, medical facilities in the country, there are people who right now debating how they're going to pull out a tooth, which dentist to go to.
You know something, Imam? There's a country named Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
It's an African country. The president name is President
Ibrahim
Traore. Ibrahim Traore fell ill just the other about 2-3 weeks ago and refused to seek medical attention outside of his country. That is a leader. Whatever we have here, I am going to go with that. And if it is not up to standard, then I die. Madam Prime Minister, you should enforce that with your ministers and every one of them. Now, one more thing, Imam. WASA is a statutory board, meaning they run their own affairs. They collect their rates and taxes, and they pay their bills and have their savings and whatnot. I have never heard Wasa make a profit?
Never.
Never. Airports Authority is another statutory board. At no time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago and the history of the Airports Authority did the government have to subvent money, or meaning the Airport Authority run at a loss. Why is it every time Wasa runs at a loss? You know what money the Airports Authority collects? From passengers who are only traveling. Every 3 months you have to pay your Wasa bill.
Yeah.
How the hell are you running at a loss?
And not that alone, Pray, I'll tell us something.
Eh?
When you look at the isometric of what we are saying on this program, what we are saying here is real and true.
Every
It is hard
household
facts.
pays a Wasa bill, Imam. Every household.
We're talking about Wasa, right? When you look, I live in Felicity here, right? I live in Felicity here, and you ask any resident of the area, when was the last time I tell you something. I want to show you an example in my hand. You see this diameter here? This diameter in my hand, that is around, I would say, about 4.5 to 5 inches diameter. The Wasa connection for the past 60 years in certain areas in my village, in my community, it was a 12-inch main line that time. And now it is just about 4 inches because of the rust, because of the burr, because of all that accumulative dust and rubbles and whatever you want to call it that is attached to that pipeline. So when you feel, Trinidad and Tobago, you feel that you're getting sufficient water and they calculate, hey, you know something, they go look at the statistics and say, hey, what? You have a 12-inch main, give them 2 turns.
Half turn.
Oh, half
Yes.
turn. You know what is going to happen there? They fail to realize that line has been
corroded and clogged.
yes, and it has been reduced to maybe half the diameter of that. And yet still they're giving you insufficient water. But you know something? We have to be up to date with our payment. And again, we are losing monies upon monies upon monies when it comes to Wasa. People have made application. They call our station and they have said this, Imam, prior to this, in certain areas, because there's a lot of development taking place, right? In certain areas, like for example, Dukaran Street, Mahadev Street, Kewal Street, Azim Avenue, and those streets in the area, Manchal Street, those areas have a lot of development taking place. When it was maybe 2-3 houses, they sent in their 2-inch diameter water line. That was to service maybe 6 homes. Now there's 25 homes, and they are not doing any future planning. All they are doing is just bills and bills and bills and more bills, and they are giving excuse that, you know something, we cannot give you a connection there at this point in time because there's insufficient lines.
Now, Imam, I want to make a statement to the Minister of Public Utilities and the CEO of WASA. Sir, or sirs, why is it Central Trinidad do not get a water supply during the daytime? And in the nighttime, the water cannot even reach the top of a 400-gallon tank that is placed flat on the ground. Last night I put my hose on a 400-gallon tank that is placed flat on the ground and not one drop of water is collected. Can you tell us why? Why? Up in the hills there, do they suffer that fate? I don't think so. We are paying citizens. Now one more thing, Imam. We speak about WASA there. They always run into deficit, right? Who appoints managers and CEOs and executives in WASA? Not the government. And these people fail to perform. What do you do when they fail to perform? You don't renew their contract and that's about it? Hold them culpable and accountable for their non-performance or lack of performance or non-expertise in making the entity a viable one. Not so, Imam?
And what should be done to, I'll tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago, and tell me if I'm wrong, and tell me if this is not something, a positive direction to take hiring and serving a country in a different, really and truly at different heights. Those very said people, all you could see, right? All you see when you see the expertise of these people, you would see BSc and you would see their credentials and you would see certain degrees and so forth. That's it.
Salary 100,000 a month, free car, free housing, free transport allowance, which is gas and whatnot, free cell phone, and entertainment allowance, and they produce nothing. WASA is in shambles. Minister Pararat, take them to task.
Right. Again, and that's exactly what I was saying. Why it is that we cannot understand, we cannot get the relevant information because that is important. People are clamoring for increase in pension. People are clamoring for increase on daily wages, the hourly rates. People are clamoring for, different things to be going down. When we look at that tariff that the Americans are putting on Trinidad and Tobago,
Director, bring back that clip.
you know what is going to happen?
Yes.
You know what is going to happen? We are already strapped for foreign exchange. I think that the government should take a different initiative right now. And here what? Plan. Pull the country together, pull the different agencies together, and create history by ensuring that we have full food security in Trinidad and Tobago.
Listen to that headline on Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago braces like if a storm is coming.
Yeah.
Braces for economic blow as U.S. hikes tariffs on 15%. Come back to us. No, 15% means, Imam, 15% raise in prices of goods and services coming from the U.S.
Exactly.
Like 15% USA. Multiply by 7, you'll get the TT raise in value.
Yeah, exactly. So again,
yeah.
that is like that
is really a tsunami.
It would be like a devaluation of your pocket.
Your pocket. And presently, the government they are struggling and strangling for money, whereas the past government had it all nice and they dwindled it and swindled it.
And you know something? You know what is alarming, right? Trinidad and Tobago. What is alarming to me, right? Is that the other government, the past government, the PNM government, are stating that here what, they're going to eat out, or they're going to binge out, or they're going to take all the monies from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, the HSF, right? You all didn't study in that. How much you take out?
During COVID, how much they did?
You wasn't studying that. Now you could, something, this is
but
the
did
hypocrisy.
they contribute to it at all in the 10 years?
No. And they didn't really contribute towards that. That was done by the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa in the tenure of her governance, right? But again, Trinidad and Tobago, you all have to understand is that if you all remain silent and you remain dormant, I tell you something, expect the unexpected, take what you get in and smile. Because you're not going to fight for nothing. You have become accustomed to receiving nothing, and you have become accustomed to being satisfied with nothing. I am not like that. I am going to make effort, I'm going to make sacrifice, and I'm going to, I'm going to agitate, I'm going to tell people.
You made a good point just now, You were speaking about agriculture and can we produce food, to subsist ourselves as a country. Guyana is doing it, India is doing it, and many other countries are doing it. Now, we don't have money in this country. The last regime, they said that. When they took office in 2015, it's 2015.
Yeah.
They said, "Kamala, leave the treasury dry," and that was a
Yeah.
lie.
That was his. That was his. That was his. That was his standing
Mantra.
mark.
Yes, right. Now all the abnormalities has been unearthed, and the Trinidad and Tobago public is aware of it. We want to see some legal action, but leave that aside. We have no money. We have a new government in power. They have made certain promises that they are willing to fulfill. Here we see the U.S. is stamping 15% U.S. dollars, 15% U.S. tax on goods and services in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a budget that is being prepared. We have a country to build. We have people to make happy and feel safe in this country. Imam, tell you the truth, I would not like to be in Mrs. Prasad Bisesa's shoes.
Exactly, exactly.
Time.
Before we take our second break, before our last break, I just want to let you all know that there are lots and lots of people who are live on our TikTok. I want to say a special shout out to Hassan, Alicia, Chris Prasad, Akash, Babita, Nicole, Idris, Pamela, Nalini, and all those persons who are locked on, who are live on TikTok. If you feel, I saw our autistic mom on our live there. I wish that she could maybe give us a call. We have Baker Girl, we have Toppy Boss, Young Shooter, and all those persons. They are live on our TikTok. We want to say hello, hi to you guys. The number 372-2129. That's the number you can call us and let us know if you feel that the government of the day is performing as you expected, or they are performing at par, or they are performing under. Let us know what is going on. This is your program. Hard Facts is your program. There's no program like this in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't run ads here. We don't discriminate against anyone. We tell you as it is. So my friends, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to close off our program with our last segment.
So welcome back, friends, to our program Hardfacts on Sentinel Media Live Broadcasting. My friends, most of our viewers and texters and supporters, they are saying that Sentinel Media Hardfacts is a one-of-its-kind program in TNT.
Exactly.
Where there are little or no ads, where there is no Nancy story here, and no joke. This is serious business. As I said that, I invite any one of you out there. You want to be a part of this program? Come, we give you 5-10 minutes on this chair and express yourself. See what it is like. Now, during the COVID, which was 2019 to 2021, somewhere there, Imam, all right? When the Trinidad and Tobago economy, you know, fell flat. Everybody was home, nobody was working, and that sort of thing. After during and after the COVID, it was reported by the then government that over 100,000 persons lost their jobs. Meaning, over 100,000 persons were not paying NIS anymore, Imam. That is NIS losses. They were not paying health surcharge. That is, again, less revenue for the government. And they were not paying PAYE on overtime, or above $7,000 or $8,000 and more. Okay? The small businesses at that time, and I'll hand over to the Imam immediately. He will elaborate more on this. And the middle class business people has been wiped out in Trinidad and Tobago. All because of bad management. Don't blame COVID. COVID, whatever comes, Imam, we have to deal with it.
And I'll tell you something,
we have to deal
not
with it.
only the small or medium-sized businesses getting pressure. Trinidad and Tobago, I want you all to look around. Watch those malls.
Yes.
And look at those big conglomerates. Those big stores that were selling furnitures, fridges, and so many
Look
things.
at Centrin, the steel mill.
How many of
Yes.
those places have already gone
Disappeared.
under? They have gone under simply because some of those establishments cannot pay rental fees. I want you all to know, right now we are at a certain point in our country that it is, you know something, it is better now that you start conserving and look at your spending power.
Well said, Imam.
Right? You
Well
have to
said.
do that now because, you know, the little monies that you have, there's no time for you to go and waste that running here, running there. Right? You have to conserve. You have to conserve on that. But the problem with Trinidad and Tobago, citizens are willing to conserve. They are willing to really and truly better their condition. But you see, the few miscreants in our society, they still have that privilege to, you know, to enter people's home, right? And people, you know, they're debating this stand your ground thing. This stand your ground thing is a serious thing. And it is not only, you know, we operate in here, the Supreme, and Trinidad and Tobago, listen to it. We live in Dotish land, right? Not Trinidad, we live in a place called Dotish land. Because many of those stand your ground thing, right? You see that stand your ground law? That is a law that this government didn't bring about. Right?
That existed in other countries
That
years
exists
ago.
all over the place. All over the place. That already existing. All we have to do, look at their module. And if there's a problem there and we could tweak it, and we could bring it back down here and we could establish it to our currency or our temperament, that is all we have to do.
But Imam, you heard Anand Ramlogan, senior counsel, on live television. He said that stand your ground in laws exist in other countries, and there are people who could afford and cannot stand the crime situation. They are going and migrating to countries that have stand your ground laws, but they don't want to support it here.
Exactly.
You understand? That is sheer hypocrisy. So as I was talking, Imam, about the 100,000 jobs that was lost, and you know, less revenue for the government. The economy has been stagnated, all right? And you know, the new government, the present which, UNC, led by Mrs. Prasad Bisasa, they are trying feverishly to really kickstart and you know, to engineer this economy back to once what it was in the 2010 to the 2015 era and beyond, before that also. Now, my friends, we wish that would happen. Because the Imam and I, you know, as they say in local parlance, we are almost over the hills now, but we have children, we have grandchildren, and as, you know, men of the cloth, so to speak, we would really like to see the young children, and you know, 18,000 students, Imam, leave school.
Yeah, you know.
18,000 and they're looking for work now.
You notice I kind of distracted there, right? I reading some text and I get derailed. You understand? I get a little bit derailed there with those texts. Yeah. I want to just say hi to Vidya Motilal. She just joined in there. The number is 3722129. You all don't feel afraid or scared. Call us and let us know what is going on. You understand? People are saying, you see, whether you warn them or you warn them not, whether you do good or you do bad, you still become bad. Eh? Because here what is happening? Government is starving the poor people in Guyana. This is a statement that somebody has just written us here. And that is Little Snow. Little Snow. Hi, Little Snow. I don't know where you get that information from. But again, when you look at the media, information, it is seemingly as though Guyana is the new Mecca of the Caribbean, the paradise of the Caribbean, the Dubai of the Caribbean. So again, maybe Trinidad and Tobago could come back. We could really and truly recoil and come back to that standard where we were. And that could only happen if, you know, this motto is being used. Whatever you like for yourself, give it to others. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. And that is the motto, because a lot of people today in our country, we are really and truly working. I tell you, people are working from Sunday to Sunday. Domingo y Domingo, people are working in our country. People are working 14 hours a day to make ends meet. People are working. Let me just tell you something, Prem. Yesterday, a guy came to me, right? And I asked the guy, because I'm looking for a driver. Those of you who are locked on outside, they are looking for a 3-ton driver. And I'm looking for one experienced hardware worker who would know lumber. A lot of people come in. I sent a man for a 1x3 piece of wood. He asking me, what is that? You understand? A 1x3 lat is a piece of lat normally where people used to make cupboard and so forth. He don't know. So and he vexing with me. I say, well, go and bring up a 1x3 8 feet from it. And he don't know what is it. And he said his experience. So again, we're looking for workers, not jokers. I'm looking for a driver, a 3-ton driver at Island Express Hardware located Felicity. Now a lot of people from San Fernando calling, right? When you look at the salary, $275, $300 a day, and you have to pay $60 passenger to come, that is not feasible, brother man. And then you have extra hours to make. You have to leave home 2 hours to make taxi to meet.
And sometimes late evening.
Right. So when I give you a little advice and I say, brother, look for a work more in your area like Claxon Bay and so forth, don't get vexed with me. Don't get angry with me, because I hired people from South, from San Fernando, and the same thing again, boss, they started now vexing with me. You know, they're telling me things like this, but you're a imam, boy, you have to understand we. And they pressing on me now. When I told you in the initial that distance is going to be hard for you, you have to get up early in the morning and travel maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, and an hour and a half to 2 hours, so why 4 hours? So we're talking about working for $275 to $300 a day, driving a 3-ton truck. That is not feasible. So I saw a guy yesterday, right? And I asked the guy, I say, you working anywhere, boy? He come to really lodge a complaint. Eh? So I say, you working anywhere now? So he tell me, yeah, you working? So I said, where you working? He say, you working government. So he does normally go to work about 4 in the morning. Listen carefully, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm raising that. He leave home 4 o'clock. His type of work that he's doing, he has to do it before the hours of traffic. That is cleaning drains and cutting and brush cutting and so forth. So he will go 4 o'clock in the morning, do his portion of work and come back home, bathe, and when it's 7:30, he's going to perform another driving work. Understand me? So in Trinidad and Tobago, there are ambitious people who want to make ends meet. And there are other people, all they're concerned with how much you're paying. How much you're paying and what is the hours. And they care nothing. You know what they had asked a question? If the driver is driving alone. Driving alone. I mean, be real, man. Things real hard in the country right now. Everybody competing. I tell you something, people buying items and they're selling it for under what they're paying. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example in the hardware line. A plastic bucket will cost $20 to $22 for a plastic bucket.
Correct, yeah.
Right, Prem?
That's the black bucket.
That's the black construction bucket. And a shovel is about $30, $35, around that price. One establishment is giving you, they're giving you 4 buckets and 1 shovel for $100. You see if that matches in. Now, I tell you something. The individual is trying something there. He's bringing people to his establishment.
But there's $115 in value. How you can sell it for $100?
No, well, I tell you something. That is the reason we call it lost losers. We bring the guy there. They're using that method to attract people. And when they come to your establishment, maybe they will sell. Like for example, Trinidad and Tobago. You all don't know this. When you sell a bag of cement, you're making only $2 profit. Don't get tied up and feel you're making $20 and $30. Cement, and I can challenge anybody outside there. Call me and I will show you the bill. From TCL, $2 profit you're making when you sell cement for $60 a bag. That's number one. And again, when you look at items, people are using those things to attract. When you buy a gallon of paint, all those big establishments, right, who controlling the market, they're selling you paint, and you're making a 5-gallon bucket of paint, you're making $20. $20, and you're spending $225 to make $20.
So, Ivan, let me ask a question.
Yeah, you ask, feel free.
A 1 gallon of oil paint, right?
175.
175. And what's the profit margin on that?
About $8, boy. $8. I'm telling you.
And the customer beat it over discount.
And they don't want, and if they come and they buy 2 gallons, what's the best price? No, and I'm not angry with them because they're doing what they have to do, because I know things rough, things hard, and they want to get the best out of their monies. So I don't have a problem with Trinidad and Tobago. The reason why our country is still alive and kicking, the reason why our country is functioning, it is not really and truly because of governmental intervention in the past. This government, I don't want to blanket them and and ill-speak them, but what I'm saying, the private sector in our country, in Trinidad and Tobago, the private business sector really and truly has this country alive and kicking. Otherwise, if you depend on only the government, just like how WASA losing money, everything else is going to lose money. Imagine a government now giving WASA a 1-year moratorium to pay, to come up with that money. Imagine that.
Yeah, but the question is, if they don't come up with it, what is the next step?
Nothing. No board is going.
Nobody.
Board is going to resign.
They might turn around to the government too.
All this millions, and that is what is happening.
They'll turn around to
The
the
police
government
break
for
down.
defamation of character.
The police break down Kublal Singh tent and camp.
And he sued them.
He stood up and he gave 400,000. Imagine that. So when the government of the day now, they have to bat in their crease. They have to bat in their crease, because you know what has happened? Litigation. And when they lost Trinidad and Tobago, before we close, when they lost, I want to ask you all, who paying?
Deputy Treasury.
Who paying, my friends?
Yes.
Who paying the monies?
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, before we close our program, I just want to close up on a point here, right? So this is, we head into this September, and school is going to reopen. So, Imam, approximately 18,000 to 22,000 students have left school, and they are on the job market. A big task for Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC government, notwithstanding the percentage that are already unemployed in our country. Government, my friends, if you really want to govern and rule and please your people and make them happy, is a daunting, heinous task.
Exactly. So again, you know, there's a cycle that we all follow, right? You know, I saw, sorry I didn't cut that video. That would have been so appropriate to cut off our program, right? That would have been so appropriate. I saw, you know, one sheep leading a flock of sheep around a fire, right? And you know what? They're going around in circles and circles and circles, and nobody questioning nobody. That is not Imam Rashid Karim. I will question you, I will ask questions, and I am not, as I tell you something, in certain organization, I am not too likable. You know why? Because I ask question that is most appropriate. All right, you want to do something? Give me a reason why you want to do it. That's a simple question. Why you want to do it so? That's a very, very easy question. If you want to change, you want to deviate from one part to go to another part, let me know the reason why. Okay, that road is a better road, we go take that, like how me and Prem went and lost, right? Or, you know, we're going to stop by this doubles man here, because this doubles man has given you a nice doubles.
The reason why we lost is when you're hungry, you know.
Yeah, we pull for doubles. Right, so Trinidad and Tobago, there are lots and lots of things. So I am telling the government of the day, do not take the citizens in circles. Let us start thinking, give us the privilege and the honor to start thinking for ourselves. This stand your ground debate and so forth is good, yes, but this is something that is applicable. It's not a new wheelbarrow. It is not something new that they're going to do. It is something that is going on right now in places like Florida and all these other countries. Right? It is going on right now.
But you know, Imam, even, you know, the constituency meetings on Stand Your Ground is not being well attended by the citizens also. Abolish that, done with that now.
Yeah, it's wasting time, because let me tell you something, right? I went to one of those Stand Your Ground, and you know, forum, and the guy, how he started to operate, welcome Imam, and we happy to see you come back home, and that kind of, you know, that kind of rubbish talk. No, I tell you something. When you look at the crowd, let me be real, Trinidad and Tobago. This is a very important thing. Stand your ground is a very important thing. And what you need is people of intellect to go across there, identify and be questionable in the sense that they are asking questions that the other classes of citizens could benefit, right? When you go across there, you're going to hear it's like a conversation taking place with the speaker on the forum and the head table, and one or two persons, and that's it. Nobody else, getting the opportunity. The housewife is not getting the opportunity. The businessman is not. Because a simple question was asked, does stand your ground go, a man now, listen carefully. You have a firearm, right? And that firearm really and truly should be kept in your possession or in your home in a safe or things like that, right? That is the laws of owning or getting a firearm. Now, a person will go in his business place, Prem. Is stand your ground in your business place applicable when it comes to using your firearms to
defend yourself. Because you're not your home.
Things like that. People want to know that in your business places. Now, in your business place, that's number one. But what about when you take in your earnings, your daily earnings to the bank? Is that not a grounds for stand your ground? When you go in, listen carefully, when you go in to drop your children to school, they're telling you that you can't walk with your firearm and so forth, right? Now, that is the place that you have to be most careful for. They kidnap one of your child, one of your daughters, one of your sons, and they demand $1 million ransom, right?
And you have a gun lying
and
home.
you have your gun home, or you have your gun locked up in a safe. All these things, you see, commoners, sometimes you don't have to have a PhD. You don't have to have the PhD and the MDs. What you need to do is understand, because you all go around walking and kissing babies and loving up people and taking out photos during the election period. Nothing is wrong with that. That is campaigning. We appreciate that. But there are certain things that you all need to go on a quarterly basis. Go and visit the people. Meet with them, treat with them.
Imam? You have a firearm based on stand your ground, all right? You're not home. You're probably in your business place. Your madam home, she does not have any legal authority to use the firearm, and bandit comes into her home and she has access to the firearm because she should have access. That's your madam.
Because she giving you permission to.
What should she do? These are questions people want to know.
Yeah, and not only that, because remember.
Oh, tell the bandit, wait.
My husband not home.
Yeah, home. Don't come back with
yeah. But the point here is a lot of things has to be debated. But again, you don't have to go down through that long thing. All you have to say is Florida doing this, and take examples, utilize, examples on a daily basis, what transpired there.
And the benefits
and
of
the benefits
it.
and the adversities of it and what have you.
Correct.
And we're going to move with that. Because you're going to debate and more you debate is more money is going to be spent in Parliament
and
longer hours and all.
People dying.
Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago. So again, those of you who are locked on, our program Hardfacts is your program. It is your platform. It is your media. It is your media sensation at this point in time where we identify the atrocities, the anomalies that is being perpetrated by the evildoers in our society. And we try to really and truly bring about sanity and highlight, I want to say hats off to Jolene John. Jolene John reminds me of Jack Warner. Because I remember in Caroni Savannah Road when Jack Warner had his office there. Jack Warner used to see people from 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And you know something, Jolene John is doing a very, very sad thing. She's moving around, I'm not saying 1 o'clock, but she's moving to office very, very early, and she's meeting and greeting people. Hats off, Jolene John, Minister.
Don't you think that should be being done by every MP?
Nah, Prim, I wouldn't.
I know you want to hold the program.
I don't want that standard to reach in certain. Because I tell you something, there are people who might not be able to meet that type of standard. If Jolene is doing it and she could be able to, attract the attention of other MPs, feel free. I don't have a problem, but again, Trinidad and Tobago, you have a forum. This is your program, Hardfacts. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim. My co-host, Mr. Premchand Baldeo, signing off until Wednesday. May God Almighty bless you all. Thank all those persons who are on the TikTok line there, who have been watching us. We thank you all very much, and continue sharing our videos and let people know that they have a voice on this program, Hard